We are back. I think the audio's alright.
Yeah.
Okay, the audio's good. We're back to Tokyo Babel. Wait.
Hey, Mapo, did you buy the headset?
No, I did not, unfortunately.
Okay.
It'll happen at some point. I believe it. We're back. We're finally getting started with Tokyo Babel. We're finally done with the prologue after 2 episodes. Which is exciting. I hope we get some some answers as to what the fuck has been going on. So I believe that where we last left off was that we were in the clock tower's little room, little brick room, and Lilith was raring up to tell us the story, to tell Sorami the story of how humanity ended and how Tokyo Babel came to be. But I don't know if they are just going to skip through that and hand wave it, or if we're actually going to get a picture of it. I think they might have skipped it, and we're going to just dive straight into the story. I think we are in Route 1 now. I don't know if this game has a common route. I will double check before I post, because we need header titles and shit. But yeah. Let's get started. I was left alone in the midst of the raging flames, sitting and waiting with no direction or any concept of what I should be doing. What was I waiting for? The end of the world or the beginning of something new? The former was pointless, as the world had long since ended. Its gears would never start again, rendering the latter similarly futile. I knew that all too well. The torrent of flames raining down from the heavens scorched all to cinders. Among them were nuclear missiles launched by the world's major superpowers, metallic chunks of planes destroyed through terrorist attacks, and the considerable amount of toxic waste that showered the earth as a result. Give me 1 sec, actually, just because there's something that's been making noise. Sorry. Biological armaments and weapons of mass destruction, seeds sown by human hatred and mortal pride. Flora and fauna perished alike, and all that man had once built crumbled to ashes around him, melting into an oblivion wrought of fire and death.
So, to the question of what went wrong, basically everything.
Everything went wrong. And there I was, gazing at it all. The bleeding corpses of the elderly, the charred remains of the young, a lump of rotted flesh that was once a newborn babe, scattered entrails belonging to its mother, a nightmarish scene birthed by my own deeds and intentions. Setsuna? Whoa, what does that mean, brother? I calmly observed as all around me succumbed to decay. The world itself was on its way to complete ruination. I shed no tears, felt no grief, had nothing to lament, no pain to embrace. All that remained within me was a realization of transience, of the ephemerality of life. No matter how much time passed, the violent flames refused to die down. There was no one left to put them out. This game is so fucking stylish, man. I love these little animations and thingies. It's so cool.
I love this show. Oh!
2 young girls appeared before me. Yep. One of them as dark as midnight, the other whiter than snow, a demon and an angel. So maybe he's immortal or something, right? If everyone else is dead, and he can't, but he's choosing to die, maybe he can't die on his own without choosing to. The girl whispered in my ear,
私が違う世界でやるべきことを与えたらあなたは 違う世界。
ことは新しい世界。
その目的は
世界の救済よ。で、話に
どうもこうもない。それが人道的なものであるという条件付きで、私は全力を尽くすだけだ。
利用され使い潰されるとしたら、
それは構わない。私は私自身の権利など必要とはしていないから。
The girl's soft laughter echoed faintly in the air. Her smile appeared ominous, yet not without a certain warmth to it, or it may have been the exact opposite of that.
じゃあ私と一緒に来なさい。頑張って使い潰してあげるわ。あ、ところであなたお名前はちゃんとある？
What thoughts could have been racing through my mind as I heard her say that? I couldn't quite pinpoint the feeling. Not then, and not now. I may have been happy to the point of naivety. It could have been a blend of relief and guilt, knowing that I would survive where others died, or perhaps it was simply beyond caring.
名前はセツ。天道セツ。
私は夜の魔女リリス。それからこちらが神の秘密ラジエル。よろしくお願いする。さあ、この手を握りなさい。地獄より恐ろしく、天国より心地よい世界。天と地の狭間にある東京バベルを招待する。
東京バベル。それを
問題ないよ。
And so I was saved from a world on the brink of annihilation, all for a single purpose: to reclaim the layers of Tokyo Babel from their respective masters, to open the gates of heaven. The world went black without warning. I felt myself on the verge of drowning, water rapidly filling my lungs. The cold spread throughout my body, its chill inviting fear into my heart. The voice echoed in my head like a divine revelation.
あなたの人生は心にあなたのもの。私たちには私たちなりの事情があって、あなたに少しだけ協力していただきましたが。
This is an Evangelion moment.
すぐに忘れ去られる時間の狭間の出来事です。あなたには何の関係もありません。
I think it's also a Kara no Kyokai moment. I've been thinking about this a little bit. Satsuna kind of reminds me of Shiki, and Sorami kind of reminds me of Mikia in their roles in the story, and a little bit in their personality. But she did not respond.
Well, Sorami is the one with the magic eyes.
She's the one with the magic eyes, but she's the normal one, right? She's the person that the viewer relates to, whereas Setsuna is this kind of vaguely superhuman agent devoid of personality or humanity a little bit, right? Kind of devoid of a self-ish. It's certainly conflicted. Your life belongs to you and you alone. Her words faded along with the vision of my past. I had started my life anew at Pandora, which we also learned last time is the lowest layer of Tokyo Babel.
ねえ、私にはそれがわからないの。いや、わからないって言い出したら何もかもわからないんだけどさ。
Sorami was visibly puzzled.
だから世界は滅びつつあるの。天国が閉店したの。地獄は解体されたの。で、私たちは煉獄船東京バベル号に乗ってるの。すげえわかりやすく言ってるつもりだと思うんだけど、ぶっちゃけわかりにくいわそれ。もう困ったわね。
I decided to speak up. At this rate, there was no telling when the two would stop.
まず私が平行世界の概念から教える。その方がいいんじゃないか。
刹那先生、よろしく。
Sorami gave me a quick bow. Her form left a lot to be desired, but I could nonetheless sense an insatiable lust for knowledge. Sort of.
では世界という存在について考えてみる。
先生、ハードル高そうな気がします。哲学ですか？それとも天文学あたりですか？
大丈夫。簡単だから。
本当かな。
She glared at me with a gaze full of biting suspicion. I meant what I said, though. It was truly simple.
パラレルワールド、平行世界という概念がある。
ああ、はいはい、知ってる。つまりあれでしょ？もしも何々だったらという過程で作られる世界のことでしょ？
Well, if she understood that much, we ought to be fine.
そう。例えば A という人間が生きるか死ぬかの瀬戸際に立たされたとする。確率は半々だ。この瞬間 A が生きた世界と死んだ世界が自動的に作り出されることになる。
A world in which A lived, and one where A died. While the two worlds were the same, at this point, they ceased to be identical.
基本的に平行世界はそういう風にしてどんどんと形成されていく。ところが歴史というのはある程度の許容力を持っている。
ベルだったと思うけど、名前なんだっけ？なんか美味しそうな名前だったような。
Graham Bell.
仮にベルが電話を発明しなかった、あるいは特許の申請が遅れて依頼者グレイが電話を発明した。
世界の大雑把な歴史の流れに変わりはないということ？電話を発明したのが誰にせよ、その後の発展は変わらない？
I nodded, pleased that she was quick on the uptake.
再現性とでも言おうか。地球の人類の歴史は細かな部分では常に基軸となっているものがあった。それだから大抵の平行世界は生み出された瞬間に吸収されて元に戻る。
Okay. Otherwise, alternate universes would have kept cropping up infinitely. I wasn't sure whether or not there was an upper limit to their numbers, but having an infinite amount of parallel worlds couldn't possibly bode well.
だが人間の何気ない選択が自然の気まぐれが時折世界に対して凄まじい変化を生み出すことがある。
例えば？
I took a few moments to think, then presented an appropriate example out of a textbook. Oh my god.
1989年、君の世界ではベルリンの壁が崩壊したと思う。これをきっかけに東西ドイツが統一を果たした。これは正しいかな？
After a few moments of thinking, Sorami gave a hesitant nod. She must have been summoned either from the world serving as the basis for history, or at the very least a parallel world very close to it.
とある平行世界、東ドイツの政府スポークスマンギュンター・シャボウスキーが勘違いをしなかった。ただそれだけで世界が変わった。
Sorami blinked at me in surprise.
そもそも壁崩壊のきっかけは彼の勘違いだ。ベルリンの壁を除く出国の規制を緩和する政令だった。会議に出席せず内容もよくわからないままだった。ベルリンの壁を含む政令と彼は認識してしまった。
This is a fact, by the way. Sorami stared at me, mouth agape.
だからマスコミに発表した時、彼はベルリンの壁を越えられる許可を出したも同然だった。その上、この政令は直ちに執行されると発表したものだけど、その混乱のために市民がベルリンの壁に殺到し、わけもわからず壁を守っていた警備兵を相手に暴動寸前まで発展した。結果、
そんなきっかけだったのあれ。
君のいた世界でも歴史書を調べればそうなっていると。ところがその平行世界でシャボウスキーは政令の内容をよく熟知している。 正しい内容を発表してしまう。結果壁崩壊が起きずドイツ統一は果たされなかった。民主化の機嫌は高まっていたが、その世界ではさまざまな条件がさらに重なっている。いわゆる東側が勢力を拡張した。結果ソ連とアメリカの間で戦争が勃発。社会主義国家と資本主義国家を巻き込んで第三次世界大戦が起きてしまう。
シャボンだかシャポだかの人がたまたま勘違いしなかっただけで世界が変わった？
少なくとも第三次世界大戦が起きる確率は低くなる。ともあれこれほどダイナミズムに世界が変わった場合、完全に元の世界と異なる存在として認識される。
Okay, so in Tokyo Babel lore, parallel universes are only a thing long term if they're actually dramatically different from our own, right? If the diverging event is large enough and the resulting events are separate enough from normal history, that makes it a parallel world. But we do have a main history that gobbles up most parallel world creation, right? And so we end up with two worlds, one that suffered devastating damage through World War III, and another where the war was avoided and capitalism prevailed. However, this also resulted in the appearance of a new type of threat, terrorism. Those two worlds had become completely separate entities. Many such divergent points existed in history. For example, the failed terrorist assassination attempt on the Pope. Had he shot earlier or chosen a different firing angle, he would have succeeded. That was another event fated to bring about change in the world.
何かをかけ違う。それを数千年繰り返し、さまざまな平行世界が生み出される。
具体的にはどうなの？
霊の存在が確定した世界、超能力者がありふれた世界、核戦争で滅びかけた世界、滅んでしまう動物たちが世界の覇権を手に入れた世界。
I turned to look at Lilith.
リリスやラジエルはその無数にある平行世界の管理者、違う、ウォッチャーズだ。
Oh, he uses Watchers, which is an Enoch reference. Ish, kinda. In the book of Enoch, there's a class of angel called the Watcher, and the Watchers are the ones, in large part, who fall. And in the lore of Enoch, they produce the Nephilim by fornicating with human women. They're led by Semyaza and Azazel. But I don't know to what extent they're actually going through with that reference here. Lilith nodded, skillfully continuing the conversation. She was far more knowledgeable on the issue compared to me. The two of us exchanged looks. It was her turn now. Certainly neither Lilith nor Raziel are watchers in the sense that Semyaza was a watcher, so...
あなたたち人間は本当に面白いわよ。冗談じゃなく、私たちに極めて近い力を生み出すに至った世界が存在する。これは例えば刹那とか？
Lilith fell silent upon hearing those words. I too stared at Sorami in silence. Sorami fidgeted awkwardly, seemingly conscious of my gaze.
ごめん、なんか聞いちゃまずいことだった？
Not particularly. Actually, it may have been.
刹那ちょっと違うのね。まあいろいろあったってことでご満足してちょうだい。
Oh, fuck you, Higashide.
彼の物語を聞かせることだってあるでしょ。
Why are you teasing me, man? It wasn't exactly an everyday life story, though.
ね、じゃあリリスはやっぱり悪魔ってこと？で、ラジエルが天使？その通り。
Raziel abruptly stepped behind Sorami, gently whispering into her ear, much to the latter's surprise and horror. Lilith observed from a distance.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I just want to say that I think the angel is more scary than the devil, than the demon.
I think that might be intentional, actually. Maybe Lilith's more proficient at putting you in low guard, or keeping you feeling like you're safe. Maybe that's part of the demon side.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, don't be fooled by mere appearance.
Right. Lilith,
Man, but she looks kind of nice, I think she.
Lilith observed from a distance, laughing up a storm.
私たち天使は本来作り出された平行世界の管理が目的。悪魔は平行世界が生み出した人間たちの管理が目的となる。そうしてまあ数千年が経ったわけよ。平穏無事にね。ところが
Wait, could you go back?
Sure.
全てが狂い出した。
So in this version of the mythos, as it were, demons do have a cosmological appointment. So they have a purpose, assumedly ordained by God, right? So let's see how that impacts things as we move along the plot.
Could that line...
Yeah?
Could go back again,
Right.
please? Yeah, so that line on the upper, in the upper side of the screen.
Yeah.
Could that be a reference to what you said about Lilith? Or that she claimed the newborn, something like that?
It could be. It could be. I'm not entirely sure that that's exactly what they're going for, but that kind of makes sense. It's a metaphorical reading of it. I think.
Yeah.
まず主だった平行世界に次々と崩壊の兆しが見られ始める。それは人間の選択のためではなく自然の抗いですらなく、ただただ無造作に世界を握りつぶすような破滅だ。
Worlds collapsed in rapid succession, not through strife sown by mankind, nor catastrophes unleashed by nature itself. They were simply being devastated and doomed to vanish. Life and all of creation came to an end on these worlds.
さらに追い打ちをかけるように、まず天使が天国にアクセスできなくなった。天使は追い出され、天国へとつながる門を完全に閉じられる。神に最も近いと言われていた四大天使のうち、ミカエルを除く3人も大混乱の中で消息を絶った。四大天使？ミカエルにラファエルにガブリエルに
Uriel, I think?
あと
Uriel.
Yeah.
Lucifer.
Sotomi's eyes lit up with recognition.
変わらずあいつは忘れ去られるわね。あでね、地獄は地獄で大問題。地獄の最下層。
What did
呼吸
Satsuna
と
say?
法律家になってい
didn't
た
see
悪
it.
魔の王ルシファーが姿を消し
Setsuna said Uriel.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Well, that is not good.
Right.
行方不明ね。地獄は上を下への大騒ぎ。勢力バランスが崩れたのをきっかけに内輪で戦争すら始まるところだったわ。ところがすぐに地獄へ大量の水がなだれ込んできた。
So to an extent, we are going through the usual motions of extreme dualist perspective on Christianity, which is technically wrong, that Satan rules over hell. That is incorrect. But you can't escape the influence of Dungeons and Dragons in pop culture, so...
あの水はおそらくかつて人類を滅ぼしかけた巨大な雨雲よ。我々はこれらの災害を全部まとめて震災と呼称した。
So a
Is that
flood...
a joke?
What do you mean, is that a joke?
Divine calamity.
Well, I guess it's kind of a reference on the Divine Comedy. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It is kind of funny that hell flooded over. The place with fire and brimstone being consumed by water is quite funny. With heaven isolated from the world and hell submerged in water, There was only one thing left to do.
ことここに至って天使も悪魔もひとまず協力体制を敷くことにしたわ。まずは常在の場という役割を放棄していた煉獄をミカエルが回収した。ただまあ煉獄を新たな世界として作り上げたわけだからその代償も大きかったのでしょうね。ミカエルは間もなくした。
So it's kind of funny that Michael became the demiurge of this new reality, isn't it? I wonder if that's going to come up later. And so Purgatory was born anew as Tokyo Babel. In a world without heaven, hell, or even the earth, you might as well think of it as our very own Noah's Ark. Sorry for the loud noise again.
そんな時、ある天使が神からのメッセージを告げた。それはくしくもミカエルが亡くなる間際に伝えた真実と同じだった。人の子よ、巡礼せよ。巡礼すれば汝の願いは叶うであろう。
Humans were the key to opening the gates of heaven. Angels could not do it. The same applied to demons as well, naturally. So it's kind of an inversion of the Fate Stay Night thing, where only servants can touch the Holy Grail. Right? Here, the servants, as it were, the spirits, can't touch the gates of heaven. Only humans can. Kind of like that.
Why though?
I don't know. Beats me.
東京バベルを巡礼してもらい、7つの大罪をあがなうという過程を経ることで天国の扉を見つけて開く。巡礼を提唱したのは神の来帝と呼称される天
The
使。
thunder of God.
彼女たちの言葉が本当に正しいの
I will not spoil who she
知る
is,
術はない。
but I know.
もうそれを信じるしかなかったってわけよ、私たちは。
The humans would become pilgrims of Tokyo Babel, find the gates leading to heaven, and open it to restore the divine realm, then beg God for his pardon.
そうして天使と悪魔は共同で滅亡していない平行世界から力ある者たちを救い上げた。
In what way is Sorami powerful, though?
英雄怪人超人勇者、あらゆる世界のあらゆる優秀な存在よね。私たちは彼らを学生に仕立て上げパンドラに転校させた。その数ざっと1億人。
100 million humans. Okay, so Sorami isn't the last human. Alright. This changes things. My theory is starting to fail here.
1億人の学生
So it's not a new Genesis.
It's not a new Genesis yet, at least.
第1階層から第7階層、7度の巡礼を経て天国の門が開かれるはずだ。
だけど門を開くことができなかった。
というより誰も門まで到達できていない。現状第4階層が最高記録。いろいろと問題はあったんだけど、まず一つ目、パンドラに集う1億人の学生が全員巡礼に迎えるわけじゃない。いや、むしろ絶望的な現実から逃避する連中の方が多かったのよ。
Okay, so we got a couple Lotus Eaters. The summoned students continued on with their daily lives with a certain suspicion and unease nestled in the back of their minds. And when that suspicion ripened and blossomed into a solid conviction that there was something definitely not right with this world, the affected students could finally establish contact with the angels and demons. But the total amount of people out on pilgrimage, or planning to set out, ultimately came to a mere 10,000.
2つ目、巡礼に向かった者たちのほとんどが東京バベルのいずこかで消失した。もしくは殺された。
Not at all concerning.
消失と殺害は違うの。
If heaven's closed and hell's in turmoil, and this is not Earth, what happens when you die?
That's a fantastic question. I don't know if you can die anymore. That might be one of the problems. Like if everybody ends up in a little pocket realm like Getel's, right? Or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh.
but like, we saw Ghetto dying, and apparently Michael died too.
I wonder if you just get like if you get frozen or something. I don't know. If your spirit is locked in your body, that must be the case.
Does it have something to do with the ocean?
I don't know.
Like the one in which Gatha was thrown in?
Right. I wonder. I don't know. I wonder if they also...
Certainly a question.
Maybe when they die, they come straight to purgatory. Right? Because that wouldn't be unusual. That wouldn't be unusual. Or maybe they just get locked in their bodies. I don't know.
Isn't this purgatory? And apparently the students are getting killed in it.
Right. Yeah, maybe their bodies... Either their consciousness just fades because the universes are getting destroyed, right? They're ceasing to have ever been. So maybe they just simply are deleted. Like, entirely. That's one,
Jesus.
That's one hypothesis. The second hypothesis is their souls are just locked in their bodies because they can't transit. And so they're effectively in stasis until the situation gets solved.
Probably.
消失ならば天国に向かった可能性がある。望み薄だけどな。殺害は簡単明瞭。実行犯が存在するのよ。
A perpetrator. In other words, a sinner. After all, they eliminated all those who set out to have an audience with God one by one.
支配者と私たちは彼らのことを呼んでいる。
They said the word! They said the word!
何かが原因で頭のネジが緩んだか調律が狂ったかでバンとなってしまった連中よ。東京バベルを支配し王を気取る連中ね。女王。
The masters were men and women whose minds had succumbed to madness during their respective pilgrimages. And you see Getel over there, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Oh, that explains why she's not in the biblical canon.
Right. Angels, demons, and humans alike were among their numbers. So I guess, well, So the masters aren't just humans. They're just people that were on pilgrimage that eventually went insane, and decided to become kind of gods of their own realms, right? So Getel was an angel, not a person, right? Because she brought grief on the Amorites or whatever. But she was one of these masters. I suppose the master of Pandora, because that's what the stratum that we cleared last time. So it mattered little if the affected person was a selfless martyr, a god-fearing angel, or a demon absorbed in lust. All of them, without exception, had broken beyond repair, their minds warped, enveloped by pure bloodlust. Go ahead, Unlimited.
No, I just wanted to remember about the story of the Sims, and this makes sense.
Right.
Because they were explaining about that they had to rise against the Sims.
Right. Okay. A defense system gone rogue, spiraling viciously out of control. The resulting chaos had thrown a colossal wrench in the angels' and demons' plans of fighting the gates of heaven through pilgrimage. Their only option was to completely eradicate the masters. I too was apparently summoned here for that purpose.
例えばゲテル。彼女も壊れた存在だったのね。私は彼女に召喚されたんだよね。多分ね。ゲテルはあなたをどこかの平行世界から召喚した。
Right.
あなたをもてあそび殺すためにね。
Makes sense. She did an awfully good job of it, unfortunately. A weary smile left Sorami's lips, prompting me to speak up.
大丈夫。
あんまり大丈夫じゃないっぽい。やっぱ妹の話題はしばらく後にして。
Lilith suggested we change the subject.
このパンドラにも支配者になってしまった連中が攻め込んだことがあったのよ。
誰が支配者になっていた？
聞くとドン引くわよ。
Lilith shot a glance in Raziel's direction.
非凡な超能力者であったサンジェルマン伯爵。 天使の軍団長であったサンダルフォ思考にして暴食ハエの王ベルゼバブ
Sandalphon, who is a major character in one of my favorite visual novels of all time, Demon Bane, which we will read at some point. An angel, a demon, and a mortal man, each unparalleled in their own right. They too succumbed to madness during their pilgrimages, until we lost them. Many thought that having them on our side would make the journey towards heaven a cakewalk.
もう3年前の出来事だったかしら。激戦で何百何千という人間、天使、悪魔が死んだわ。たった3人で全ての天使と悪魔と人間を撃ち滅ぼそうとしていた。笑いながら、おどけながら。
Raziel began visibly trembling, no doubt having remembered the horrors of that day.
まあなんとか撃退したけどね。犠牲は大きかったわ。ともあれ、そんな状況だから人間を巡礼に向かわせることもなかなかできなくなっていたの。それを打開するために私が呼んだのがそこの天道刹那。え、そうなの？
実はまだよく分かってないんだけど、どうやらそうらしい。
実は刹那を召喚したのってついさっきだったからね。まあでも私は私であの力に驚いたわ。ゲテルは完全に使いこなせてなかったとはいえ。
Wait a sec. So, we had virtually lost our ability to send more humans on pilgrimages, and then Setsuna came in after they beat the Triad, the Triumvirate. To think he would be able to beat the Picati sword barehanded, Lilith's voice sank to a whisper as she finished the sentence. Her surprise was not entirely unwarranted. Even I was astonished by how I managed to exhibit such power, despite having never mastered the art of magical perception.
語りうるべき現状はそんなところかしら。あと一つ忘れてた。
Lilith leaned closer to Sotomi's face. The latter winced, her cheeks flushing bright red. Is this a VN moment? Raziel reacted quickly, holding Sotomi down. Their knack for teamwork was a sight to behold.
それに重要な話があるわ。あなたは幸か不幸か天使ゲテルの力を得た人。
Lilith gazed deep into Sotomi's eyes.
Toshi has reality marble.
This time, Raziel ended up whispering into her ear.
ゲテルの瞳は隠されたものを暴き立てる力がある。それがあれば隠された天国の王への道筋を見つけ出せるかもしれない。
Well, that's what they're referring to, not the reality marble. An angel and a demon whispering in each ear. He couldn't help but find the situation odd, to say the least. Sotomi glanced in my direction, her gaze silently screaming for help. I decided not to respond.
Do her eyes understand
そんなわ
metaphysics?
けで
Her eyes understand metaphysics?
Yeah, that's an important question. You know, in this context,
Right.
because humans, angels, and demons are on pilgrimage, right?
Right.
They need to repent their sins.
Right.
Okay? So, Sotomi being a human, she would have an enormous advantage with both Satan gone and her eyes revealing her the truth of things.
Right.
So if she could peer into metaphysics, she could see the truth, the lay behind the world of appearance, right?
Right.
So she could completely understand virtue, and she could be, the one.
Right. Right.
Could be the one.
It probably is going to be very useful in that final part of the pilgrimage where she needs to go to an audience with God and then requests that please be let back in. Although, I would also assume that God is prepared for this. Nothing is very easy when it comes to contacting God, right?
Imagine, like, she goes to God, she sees him, sees his face, and then her eyes just the sight of God makes her blind.
Right.
Because her eyes will try to understand it, and then she goes blind.
Right.
Because even her eyes trying to understand God won't be able to.
It's kind of funny because you go from trying to see the truth behind things that are hidden to seeing the hypostasis of truth, and I think that would kind of fuck you up.
Probably.
It's trying to like see the hypostasis of vision. That would probably fuck you up too. I don't know.
Yeah, she probably would lose her mind.
Right.
And then become the new Satan.
Well, let's see. Wait. We're gonna pause right quick. Okay, we're back.
力のパスは可能ですか？誰かもっと立派な方にお任せした方がよろしいんではないかと愚行する次第であります。あと乙女の柔肌に指をつってすんな。パス？やってもいいけど、その場合あなたの視力が残る保証はないわよ。座頭の一ちゃんになる。
I have no clue what Zatoichi is.
Me neither.
This really is a tune you get.
Google it real quick.
Yeah, they have literary references and I have no fucking clue what's happening. Lilith learned...
What if she passed just one eye, you know?
Right. Lilith leaned in closer to Sorami with a beaming smile. I love her enthusiasm. That's great.
It's the best.
Sorami lifted her arms, her expression positively dejected. This must have been her way of admitting defeat. She adapted easily. That was my genuine first impression of her. Question time! Oh, we're ahead. She abruptly pointed her index finger at us. Okay.
第2階層から第7階層まで踏破。最後の階層に天国への階段、ヤコブのはしごがあるはず。それを探し出して天国の扉を開く。
Okay. So, Sorami and Setsuna together, traveling from Pandora to the 7th stratum, and going up Jacob's ladder, opening the gates of heaven. That's the first objective.
そして第2目的。各階層には支配者になり果てた者が存在するはず。それらをことごとく打倒する。説のはこちらの方が主要な目的ね。
Alrighty. I responded with a silent nod. They would not be easy targets, but someone had to do it.
刹那ってやっぱり強いんだ。いや、ゲテルと戦っていた時にもう分かっていたけどさ。
Man, I fucking love the soundtrack.
私は壊れた存在を打ち倒すために召喚されたらしい。天使であれ悪魔であれ人間であれ、私に戦って打ち勝てる存在が数少ないから。
That's some self-confidence.
Yep. Sorami mumbled below her breath, seemingly about to come to a certain realization. And then it happened.
ってことは、私のことは命がけで助けに駆けつけてくれたというよりも。
Her suspicions were correct. I was not her knight on a white steed, but a savage mercenary wielding a blade dyed deep crimson in the blood of his enemies.
それは深く考えない方が人生楽しめるわよ。
Lilith was grinning like a hyena. Sodomy, on the other hand, looked utterly devastated.
わーい、畜生、知らないままでいたかった。夢がブレイクしたじゃないか。
Sodomy began fidgeting about, visibly irritated. I may have just given her a reason to be mad at me.
そしてソラミ、あなたにはゲフェルの瞳がある。巡礼の際、東京バベルに隠された何かがないか調べてほしい。
Now, if this was a game from the 90s, I would expect this to be a game mechanic like Yuno, where almost every visual novel was also an adventure game, and you had to actually like go pixel hunting and stuff. But I don't think this is going to be the case, sadly.
見ればいいの？うん。もしかすると何かが見つかるかもしれない。本とか見つけてくれるとすごくありがたい。
Was it just me, or did Raziel sound awfully selfish for an angel?
震災が起きた原因はラジエルたちにも分かってないのか。君たちは天使として世界を管理していたのだろう。
少なくとも生き残った天使たちは誰も分かっていない。特に私の震災前後の記憶がどうしても思い出せなくなっている。
I wonder why that is.
あれ？ラジエルの記憶喪失さん？震災の前後でぽっかりと記憶が抜けている。気づいたらカマエルに引っ張られて逃げていたから。
Camael also in my notes. I wonder what God has going on here, because he must have been the one that deleted these memories. Maybe something happened that caused the divine calamity. Maybe a second rebellion. Maybe that's what they're going off of. I don't know.
何か原因思い出せないのか。
Raziel nodded. Did I skip something by mistake? No.
ただ確かなことは一つだけ。本を探さなきゃいけないということ。
Oh, so she lost her book apparently.
Oh, great. So we're either coming across the set for Raziel or the other book that Raziel wrote. Her tone was low and matter of fact.
じゃあ本を重点的に探すことにするよ。おお、ありがとう心の友よ。
Overwhelmed with gratitude, Raziel held Sorami in a tight hug.
潰れる口から変なの出る。
Destructively tight hug might have been more fitting expression.
それでソラミ、あなたは東京バベルより先にまずはこのパンドラを巡ってちょうだいな。はい。
Sorami looked at Lilith, visibly puzzled.
もしソラミの目に引っかかる存在がいれば、そいつは天使や悪魔に被験するほどの力を得た人間だから。
Oh,
チェック入れておかないとね。
maybe we'll find a party member then.
本来私たちが全てをチェックしていてしかるべきなのだけど、もう追いつかない。そんなの私にわかるかな。論より証拠、百聞は一見にしかずか。よし、ちょっと
おー
青アスタロトと大天使カマエルに会ってみましょうか。人外がどういうものなのか感覚でつかめると思うわ。
Got a couple big names here. Lilith stood up, prompting Raziel, who was still busy silently fiddling with her tablet PC, to follow suit. Sodomy simply stared at them in confusion, unable to grasp the situation. Oh, we're back at school. We stepped out into a hallway blanketed in complete silence. Sodomy lifted a hand next to her ear, looking somewhat mystified.
教室は静かなんだね。その割には遠くではしゃぎ声がするけど、いつでもどこかが授業中で、いつでもどこかが休み時間、いつでもどこかがお昼休みで、いつでもどこかが放課後だからね。
Lilith slid a nearby classroom door open, inviting the gazes of all the students inside.
ほらね。
授業の邪魔をして申し訳ありません。
I hastily apologized and shut the door. That was awkward.
リリス、どちらに行く？アスタロトはおそらく校長
Thanks.
室。カマエルは生徒会室。セツナ、
Oh, shit.
あ
Sorry.
なたは二人とも会ったの？
あった。どちらも個性的な人物。天使と悪魔だと記憶している。
よし。空見に決めさせるのもちょっと酷な気がするし、あなたが決めてちょうだいね。
Oh, shit. Are we getting a choice?
する。
Having just been given the freedom to choose, I fell into silent contemplation. How would I proceed? Oh my god.
Oh, finally!
So, could you take this opportunity to explain who the heck are these guys?
Yeah, that's a good one.
So we're going for the angel?
I thought you would explain who. Okay.
Oh, do you want me to go for the details? I'll explain.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a golden
You
opportunity
can make
to do so.
a quick one now, and maybe in the end you can explain it more
Well,
if you want to.
these ones are going to be a little shorter. They're not, well, Asteroth is kind of big, but Camael means God has warmed. He's found in the Jewish Kabbalah as an angel assigned to the Sephira of Gevura, the divine strength. And he's also found in the Codex Areopagiticum of Pseudo-Dionysius, the Areopagite, of the 5th or the 6th century as one of 7 archangels listed therein. That's all that I have on Camael. He's associated with Gevura, so as such I would imagine that he's somewhat of a powerful angel, or something to that effect. But that's kind of all the info that I've got. Asteroth is a little more complicated, but to be brief, I don't have in etymology, but because we don't know, but we do think that Asteroth, the name, comes from Asteroth, which was the Punic, or the Canaanite, I should say, name for the goddess Inanna of Sumeria, or Ishtar from Akkad, or Astarte from Carthage. So they transformed Ashtoreth into Asteroth, who would later become part of the so-called evil trinity of Western demonology in literature such as the Book of Abramelin first, and then the Pseudomonarchia Daemonim, which was kind of the first gigantic, huge, very detailed demonological tract and guide, other than the Testament of Solomon, and would later inspire the very much more famous Lesser Key of Solomon, or the Lemegeton, in which he is described as a diviner and a sage which dispenses knowledge, that rides a dragon and carries on his right hand a viper, and that spits a foul breath. So that's the info on both of the figures in question.
Okay. Let's go with the demon, with the Asteroth.
So I got one for Asteroth. What do you think, Mapo?
Let's go meet Asteroth.
Okay,
Oh,
to
okay.
Asteroth we go then.
アスタロトに会おう。
よしよし。じゃあ校長室に行きますか。
Sadly, Asteroth, as far as I am aware, does not look like Kadeen in this game, in the way that Ishtar looks like Kadeen in Fate, Grand Order. Lilith once again slid the classroom door open, her trademark smile unfading.
リリス？
I was about to join Sorami in asking what she was up to, but the moment Lilith opened the door, all became clear. The room once filled with dozens of students had transformed into cramped, dimly lit office. A man sat at the massive ebony desk in the middle, casually resting his feet on the surface.
リリスにラジオ、そして
So I guess they're going with the evil Trinity thing, where he's one of the big bosses of the demons, right? Considering that he sits in the CEO office of some kind.
It makes sense.
The man's features reflected youth, yet compared to us, who were still in our teens, he was unmistakably an adult. He appeared to be in his mid-20s, the emphasis being on appeared. After all, Lilith and Raziel themselves were several thousands of years old. The black-on-white suit he wore looked oddly fitting on him, possibly because it accentuated the dichotomy he stood for. Asteroth. His status varied depending on which grimoire one consulted, yet all agreed that he was a high-ranking demon lord. He could certainly be counted among the three most powerful beings living here, the other two being Camael and Belial, which is also a name that has significance.
アスタロト、何か変化はあった？
あればここで立ち止まったりするものか。ないよ。天国への門は変わらず閉ざされ、地獄は水没。この浮遊する煉獄は明日をも知れぬ状態だ。
It didn't sound like he enjoyed getting these questions.
切羽詰まってはないね。
いつだって切羽詰まっているようなものだがね。それで、その人間はどうしたのかな。
まあ、彼女はくぐつ空見。くぐつ空見みたいです。よろしくお願いします。
ああ、ゲテルの瞳を継承してしまったという人間か。俺を見ることで強大な力の流れに慣れておこうという魂胆だ。
そういうこと。で、空見、アスタロトを見た感想はどう？
Let's see. Sodomy narrowed her eyes.
なんか分裂している感じに見える。男と女の。
ああ、俺の原点は女神イシュタルでもあるからな。
Okay.
おそらくその因子が混じり合っているのだろうよ。
What? What? What the fuck? What kind of question is that, bro? I immediately felt a sudden near-volcanic surge of murderous intent in the room. Asteroth himself was smiling.
俺の息は毒を持っているが試してみる。地上でも未発見。エボラも核やという。
Does this mean we're gonna see him riding on a dragon? I really want to see that.
申し訳ありません。私が悪うございました。
Sodomy lowered her.
Yo, Asteroth. What's the big deal?
Sodomy.
Got something against cross-dressers, bro?
Oh man. Sodomy lowered herself into a perfectly aligned kneeling position.
素早いな。まあいい。許そう。
よし、許された。
Sodomy, she needs to practice that forgiveness thing, that asking for forgiveness thing, for when she meets God, you know? Sodomy pushed herself erect and assumed the victory pose.
魔王相手にたくましいわね、空見ては。いいことだけど。あ、さて、それじゃ次は人間たちを見てみましょうか。
ああ、ならばこのリストを持っていけ。
Asteroth produced a list from the drawer in his desk, then tossed it in Lilith's direction.
ひょっとして行方不明になった巡礼者たちのリストをカマエルからもらおうと思っていたけど、ちょうどいいわ。セキュー。
A list of missing pilgrims.
リリス、少し悪魔同士で話し合いたいことがあるのだが。
Ooh.
いいか。
それってラジエルの木で。
そうだ。
Lilith threw in a quick glance in Raziel's direction. The angel let out a drowsy yawn, seemingly on the verge of nodding off.
いいわ。ラジエル、ちょっと席外してちょうだいな。先に帰って寝る。おやすみ。
Raziel waved us a goodbye and sleepily staggered out of the room.
空見と刹那は残っているじゃない。二人は天使じゃないでしょ。それに刹那は私が召喚した存在だから問題ないと思うけど。
仕方あるまい。さて、率直に問うぞ。 お前はアダムの一件に関わっている。
Oh. Lilith's expression darkened in an instant, which Sodomy took as her cue to hastily retreat all the way back to the entrance. A heavy atmosphere of undiluted animosity descended upon the room. A gust of unchained bloodlust ripened to preposterous heights, enough to make one's skin crawl. Its source was Lilith herself. She was directing it at Asteroth, who bore the full brunt of her monstrous aura. All that Sodomy and I received from the sides was but a gentle breeze compared to its full intensity. If a mere fragment of her aura could have such an effect on us, its full brunt would no doubt outright liquefy the average person. Oh shit.
その反応でよしとしよう。だが俺の発言も無理からぬことだと思う。アダムを一番知っているのはイブを除けば君だ。
Lilith covered her face with her palm. She ground her teeth and would have even produced a massive bulging vein on her temple had this been a scene for a manga. If the temperature on the room up to this point was bordering on the Arctic, it now felt akin to having a bucket of liquid nitrogen splashed on one's face. Oh, she's pissed, boys. A violent chill rushed up my spine as the atmosphere in the room turned oppressive and near suffocating. As for Sodomy... What the f... She appeared to have completely blocked out her surroundings. A sound decision, all in all. Are they gonna beat the fuck out of each other? I'd better stop them. She's going full retard. Lilith let out a sigh.
Asteroth, 私にとってアダムはね、名前を聞いただけでプッツン切れるほどの爆薬なわけ。まあ、天使が作ったというアダムに関わったかどうかで言えば。
Oh, what's up with this? The angels created their own Adam. I wonder what this could mean.
意外だな。
いえ、意外でもなんでもないわ。天使がアダムを作るって言うから、私はこう伝えたのよ。同じ顔にするとぶち殺したくなるから顔は違うやつにしろって言ったの。
Asteroth giggled jovially.
なるほど。あの男の顔がまるで違うのはそれが理由だった。
それ以降は関わってないから知らないけど、アダムの顔はそんなに前と違うの？
顔だけじゃなく中身も相当いじくり回したらしいな。これまで天使と悪魔の間で繰り広げられた戦闘記憶を全部ぶち込んだらしい。
Well, I'm very interested in meeting this Adam dude. Lilith nearly stumbled over her words in surprise. This new piece of information was shocking enough to quell what little anger she may have still had left.
数千年に及ぶ戦闘データすべてだ。我々魔王も疑いたくなるだろう。この
ちょっと待って。アダムは確かにランクとしては聖人と天使の中間にいる人間よ。だけど数千年の戦闘データ、そんなもの脳をフルに使ったところで許容できるものじゃないでしょう。
イブ。
The name made Lilith's expression undergo a swift change. Asteroth couldn't help but sigh.
何も知らないのかな。いや、意図的に知ろうとしなかったわ。天使たちが震災の時、イブを連れていたのは知っているだろう。天使たちはイブの
Wait a sec.
セット
Sorry.
手を返球した。戦闘データは彼女が保管していて、
Oh.
アダムは好きな時にそれを引きずり出す。
そう。身分ならか。
So the angels made a new Adam, and they're using Eve as a data storage bank that he has access to utilize his weaponry.
イブは神が作りし完全な人間だ。戦闘能力は皆無とはいえ、数千年の戦闘データごとき、彼女にとっては何でもないだろうな。
壊れる可能性は。
天使たちは何重ものセーフティーロックを施してあるとか語っていたが、果たしてどこまで本当なのか。いずれにせよ、壊れてしまえばこちらの不安も片付く。アダムを3度作ることは誰にもできん。
それでアスタロと
What will happen to the
何が
first
狙い？
one?
セツナとアダムを殺し合わせたいあたりかしら。
Well, in the Bible, Adam died. I wonder if that's still the case here.
ああ、現状の手詰まりな状態でそこまで愚かな行為には走らんよ。第一、バベルで歯を唱えてどうする？砂場の王を気取る子供にはならんよ、俺は。
Lilith and Asteroth exchanged an intense glare. For the time being, I decided to trick up on Sodomy. Her mind once again rooted in reality, she observed the two demons' verbal confrontation in a state of complete awe.
腹に一物抱えた者同士の語り合いって燃えるわ。
空には本当に立った。
Man, I desperately need an otaku GF. I need it right now.
まあね。でもセツナもそう思うでしょ。
I looked back at Lilith, her clothes to be more specific.
ジャージ姿で腹の探り合いというのもちょっとどうかと。
ダメ、それは言っちゃダメだよ。
この辺でやめておくか。
そうね。まあ最終的な着地点が同じであれば無駄な足の引っ張り合いはないけど。
もちろんだとも。では、さようなら。君たちの巡礼に幸あらんことを。
So how many of you think that Asteroth is going to betray us spectacularly a couple chapters from now?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Lilith vanished into the doorway with Sodomy in tow. Asteroth called out to me just as I was about to follow them out.
君はリリスを信用しているのか？
Oh yeah, he's definitely betraying us.
それは
Astaroth's lips curved into a wicked smile.
やめておけ。夜の魔女は君をゴミくずのようにすりつぶしてもなんとも思わんぞ。
I detected a hint of pleasure in his tone, which was most likely what made me want to be frank with him.
カマール。私はそれで一向に構わない。利用され、すりつぶされる。
He wants to die, huh?
むしろ本望。
I had made my intentions clear, with a gaze colder than the coldest of winters.
意見変わらずか。
So hedgy of a
いや結
It's true.
構、大いに結構。ではその域で東京バベルに挑んでくれたら。
では、失礼。
You need the edge to survive Tokyo Babel.
だが少年、そうであるならば。
Daga Shonen. 喜び少年.
So this is the equivalent of Kirei, huh?
I wonder. I left the room without uttering another word, as Astaroth looked on, his smile never once wavering.
I wonder if this is dialogue related to Lilith's root.
What?
I wonder if this was like a choice related to Lilith's root.
I'm not sure. I think the roots are sequential. I don't know that we can go on to a different one immediately.
I'm not sure. I was googling a little bit, and apparently, Lilith's route is just available after you finish the
prologue
and Sodomies.
Oh yeah. Well,
so I don't know if that implies that we can either play Raziel's route or Sodomy's first.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I think it's Raziel first, and then Sodomy, and then Lilith. But we'll find out.
リリスを信用するなって。あ、
I'll try to find a guide later, and then use that as a general pointer of what we're doing.
アスタロトさんも人が悪いな。リリスさんこんなにいい人なのに。いや、そこまでいいやつかしら私。これでも世間的には夜の魔女ってブイブイ言わせてたんだけど。
That was a bit. That was an awfully peculiar way of putting it.
夕食の唐揚げが一つ余ったら黙って譲ってくれるくらいにいい人だよ、リリスさんは。
Man, I'll say Sodomy is cute and all, but she ain't winning any like IQ awards. I think this might be a problem for us in the future if she's easily manipulated, right? Then if one of the masters is crazy but not crazy enough to not be able to use psychological warfare, maybe Sodomy's gonna be in trouble, and then the party is gonna lose their greatest asset, right?
絶対よ。じゃあ悪い悪魔だ。
What?
唐揚げを譲るか譲らないかで私の善悪は決まるの。そんなもんだよ。人間。おーい、遠い目して何を悟ってんのかな。それ以前に私は悪魔、それも夜の魔女なんだぞ。あ、ねえねえリリス。魔王だぞ、偉いんだぞってお子様っぽい声で言ってみて。
What the fuck?
魔王だぞ、偉いんだぞ、強いんだぞ。ベーだベーだ。かわいい。もてあそばれた。
More like thoroughly deceived. Lilith took the list in one hand, declaring she'd investigate some of the people on it, then trotted off. She also had Sodomy accompany her, leaving me alone in the hallway. Well now, what was I to do? A monocled old elderly man slithered out of the shadows, blanketing one corner of the room. A Lucifuge, also in our list of names of interest.
個人ではなく全体でしょう。全体だ。やはり我々と変わりませんか。混乱からの立て直しに力を注いでいる状態です。もっとも向こうは四大天使の行方がわからない以上、カマエルが取り仕切ってます。カマエルか。あいつは行動原理が単純な分やりにくい。買収が効くタイプでもありませんし、天使の側で誰かが裏で動いているはずだ。カマエルは避け、パワーあたりから探ってみる。承知いたしました。
Lucifuge honored his master with a respectful bow, then mimicking the way in which he had first appeared, retreated back towards the corner of the room, ultimately melting into its shadows. Asteroth allowed himself a brief soliloquy upon confirming that his servant was gone. Yeah, this is definitely not a good sign, guys. 彼との約束を守らなければならない。Asteroth exhaled another sigh, one longer and deeper than all those preceding it.
Keep his promise to whom?
It had been a busy day, but at the end of it, we all regrouped at the night duty room. Raziel looked like she was ready to doze off at any second, though.
目がしばしばする。ねえねえ、セツナ、目薬とか持ってない？
Thoroughly exhausted, Sotomi threw herself on top of a tatami mat. Having to continuously use her powers during the day must have placed a considerable burden on her. As for the eye drops...
ないすまない。
ありゃ。ねえラジエル、人間用の目薬持ってない？悪魔用でも天使用でもないやつね。天使用のしかないけどダメ？いやー、天使の目薬だとありがたみがありすぎて目が潰れそうなのさ。あなたの瞳はゲテルのものに交換されているんだから、安心して天使の目薬をさしてもらいなさい。ちなみに悪魔の目薬は私が持ってるんだけど。
Lilith reached into her pocket and produced a vial filled with vivid Cherenkov blue liquid. It felt like the kind of thing that could easily set off a Geiger counter just by being in its vicinity.
ほら、人間のあなたにはイメージ良くないでしょ。これを目にぶち込むのだけはごめん被りたいな。
Sotomi let out a nervous laugh while pouring a white, faintly glittering drop of the angel medicine into her eyes.
目をシパシパさせるのは良くないぞ。
お腹も空いた。ああ、もうそんな時間か。購買でパンでも買ってくるわ。何がいい？
結構。ただ、もしあるのなら液状栄養剤をいただきたい。
I had no idea whether or not they even had those here, though.
アップルパイ、あと午前の紅茶、アップルティー味、それからリンゴがあれば3つ。食事は味がついていればもうこの際何でもいいや。あと健康茶買ってきて。健康茶。はいはい。じゃちょっと待っててね。
And just like that, she casually left the room. Literally a minute later,
Brazil really likes
ただいま。
she really does like apples.
早っ。
Lilith strolled in, nonchalantly dropping the 4 plastic bags she'd been carrying onto the floor.
サンク。
ありがとう。
わーい。いちご丸ごとサンドイッチ。いただきまする。
I don't know about that. That sounds kind of sussy. Strawberry sandwich? My bag similarly contained something to meet my needs, a 3,000 calorie pack of high concentration liquid nutrients. Sounds like absolute fucking shit. Who eats this, man? I gulped the whole thing down in one go, thus complementing my nutritional intake for the day. Sotomi was still busy, happily wolfing down her sandwiches. In the meantime, Raziel carefully nibbled away at her apple pie at a steady pace, her expression awash with joy and fulfillment. Having finished the last drop of her tea, Sotomi exhaled a drawn-out sigh.
それにしても空に巻き込まれた割にはほんとタフよね。そうかな。
正直何もかもを夢だと思い込んで現実逃避してもおかしくないレベルの災難だ。
Sotomi rebutted my words with a bold declaration of her own.
いやよそんなの。私は現に生きてるわけだし。そりゃあまあ家族の思い出とか友達の思い出とかどうも綺麗さっぱりなくなってるみたいだけどさ。
Despite that, Sotomi's laughter was as cheery as ever. I wasn't sure if I should call it strength of will, or perhaps she simply transcended such worries. At least that's the impression I got.
ま、気を使わなくていいようで何よりだ。でも安心したらなんだか眠くなってきた。
空見、布団を敷いておくか。
She simply waved her hands my way.
お願い。
I took the futon from the nearby closet and spread them across the floor, after which Lilith helped Sotomi roll under the sheets.
ああ、気持ちいいな。あ、そっか。まあ今日はいろいろ疲れただろうし、ゆっくり休みなさいな。目が覚めたら何もかも夢だったらどうしよう。
それはそれで幸せ。
そうでもないよ。また誰かに捕まって殺されそうになってたら困るし。
助ける。心配しなくて。また助けに。だが心配する。
Sotomi stared at me round-eyed for a few brief seconds, then pulled her blankets up to her face, mouthing a barely audible thanks. In the next moment, Lilith flashed a deeply disturbing smile.
いやわざわざオノマトペを口に出さなくてもいいと思うので。
空見が眠っているのを見ていたら、はいはい、じゃあラジエルもおやすみなさい。
Raziel nodded, then buried herself under a layer of thick blankets, which left me and Lilith as the only ones still on their feet.
節のは眠るの？
私は眠らない。
More specifically, I did not actually need sleep. Excluding times of emergency, my body, mind, and nerves were always in a state of rest. Partial sleep would be one way to describe it. I was very much capable of sleep naturally, but I could also technically sit here and wait for the morning to come if I so desired.
まあ、夜の魔女っていうくらいだから、私も大して睡眠の必要はないんだよね。
Lilith rose to her feet, changing back into her usual attire in the blink of an eye. She then gestured towards me with a smile.
どう？ちょっと二人で屋上に出てみない？
屋上で何か見えるのか？
何も見えないし、何か見えるかも。
Accompanied by an ominous chuckle, Lilith extended a hand towards me, which, following a moment's hesitation, I ultimately took. After carefully closing the window Lilith had left open as she leapt out into the night, I too took to the skies in pursuit. Pandora's exterior was that of an average school building with one notable exception: its height. A quick glance through would estimate the structure to be around 4 or 5 stories tall at most, yet reaching the rooftop took considerably more time than what such height would normally entail, almost as if the floors simply continued on in. Still, I never once broke my flight, knowing very well that I would eventually reach the rooftop.
ほら、ちゃんと終わりを意識して飛びなさい。さもないといつまで経っても屋上にたどり着けないわよ。
認識しないこと終わらない。
No wonder the building felt somewhat bigger than I had expected, even if it did house 100 million people.
そう、ここは実在する空間とは違って物理法則をいじくり回しているんだから、永遠に続くものは永遠に続いてしまうわよ。
And with that, I was able to clearly visualize the end through a simple act of calculation. I carefully determined the approximate height of an academic campus fit to accommodate 100 million people. Whether or not my calculation was correct did not matter, although I myself was confident in my results. What did matter was the establishment of a set distance, a specific endpoint to be reached. Cutting my way through the dense, freshly accumulated fog, I successfully made my way toward the roof.
はい、確定終了。
I landed on the rooftop around the same time as Lilith, while taking in my surroundings. The place looked awfully ordinary for a building housing roughly 100 million people. The only difference of note was the lack of any city lights to be seen in the distance. Lilith promptly hopped atop the rooftop fence, was there even a point to such a thing in a place like this, making herself comfortable. Fabricated stairs glittered upon the canvas of a makeshift sky at seemingly altered locations.
改めて本日はよくやってくれたわ。支配者になりかけていたゲテルを打倒し、傀儡空見を救ってくれた。
それが命令だったから問題だ。
ええ、あなたが動かなくなるその日まで徹底的に使い潰すから、そのつもりでね。
I nodded.
その方ありがとう。
An embarrassed giggle left Lilith's lips.
せめて恨み事を言ってくれると嬉しいんだけどね。
恨む筋合いがないのか。
My life and world had long since been consumed by fire. I cared not how the remainder of my existence was put to use.
じゃあ節の一つ聞いていい？あなたの世界は救えなかった。もう滅んでしまった。なのにあなたは他の世界を救おうとして命令しているのは私だけどね。
はい。
嫌にならないのかしら。
別に。
I never felt that way, nor did it ever cross my mind to do so. I was born and raised for the sake of man, a group I ultimately betrayed. The plot thickens. I chose to live for myself, and thus caused the deaths of millions. I committed a grave sin, and as such the remainder of my life, if it even could be called as such, held no value to me whatsoever. Consequently, I longed to find a person who would make use of it to further their own ends. In my case, it ended up being a demon, though. So Setsuna, I wonder if Setsuna was the one that caused the destruction of his world, instead of being a victim of it.
救えるなら救う。別の世界の人間だとか、人間じゃなくて天使や悪魔だとか、そういうのもう今の僕にあまり関係ない。
As long as people were in need of aid, I would be there to save them. As long as I had adversaries to face, I would be there to stop them. Even if that road was paved with carnage and death, even if my fate was to be abandoned and discarded, I would still press on.
あれ？今自分のことを僕って言わなかった？
I slipped up.
気のせい。
Lilith looked at me with the mischievous gaze of a child who had just come up with a perfect prank. I had a bad feeling about this.
いや、気のせいじゃないわ。絶対僕って言った。聞いたわ、絶対聞いた。
聞き間違いだよ。私は私だ。
Following a few seconds of silent contemplation, Lilith once again turned towards me.
ねえ、ひょっとして僕って言うとなんだか気弱そうに思われるからとか？
I evaded her gaze, yet that very action ended up confirming her suspicions.
昔言われた。
何を？
僕と言わず、私と言え。その方、弱々しく聞こえないか。
まあ、あなたの出自を考えるとそうなるか。でも正直言って似合わないっちゃ似合わないわね。
ほっといてくれ。
ああ、拗ねた。
拗ねてなんかない。
Lilith flashed another smile. I felt thoroughly exposed, almost like she could see into the depths of my heart.
聞きにくいことを聞いていいか。
アダムのこと？
I hesitantly nodded, yet instead of lashing out at me, she replied in a serene tone.
神話によれば
私がアダムの元から逃げ出したことになっているね。おおむね正解。私は最初の女として作られたけど、実は彼らより先にあれを食べていたの。
知恵の実？
おめでとう。知恵の実を食べた瞬間、私はアダムの顎に渾身の右服を食らわせてやったわ。
Lilith victoriously threw her fist into the air. I wasn't sure if I should scold or compliment her feat.
そんな悪いやつだった。
善悪を図るならとても善人だったよ。神に仕え、神に従い、己の意志などかけらも持たない。いつもニコニコ笑っている。なので、まあとりあえず殴って、その後知恵の実のありかをサマエルに教えたわ。そしてサマエルはアダムとイブをそそのかし、あとは以下なくってやつね。
Lilith's gaze grew distant.
客観的視点で考察すると、あれはアダムの腹を立てていたわけじゃなくて。
Oh, so they're going with the Camael. Okay. I see. Lilith stared deep into the black of the night, her gaze reflecting a glint of sorrow and regret, a touch of hatred and anger, or perhaps sheer indifference, nothing more. Her emotions were the palette of the rainbow, complex and dancing in myriad hues.
まあでも、やっぱり今でも面を拝んだら無言で腹を突き刺して中身をえぐり出してやりたいくらいには苛立ってるよ、私。
その殴ったアダムがここにいるのか。
あれは違うわ。言っていたでしょ。あのアダムは天使たちが作り上げた新しいアダム。ニューアダムとかネオアダム的な。
作り上げた。
A certain uneasiness washed over me upon hearing that word.
会わない方がいいかもね。
なぜ？
反目 するかもしれないから。彼とあなたとではそのあり方があまりに違う。
あり方が違うからといって私は区別したり敵対したりなどしない。
そうだ、いいの。
Lilith gestured for me to come closer to the fence, so I did. The view from up here offered nothing save for a veil of dim haze blanketing the obsidian sky. It could be that Pandora didn't need an outside world, or that nothing actually existed beyond this rooftop.
今のあなたはこの瞬間に私がここから突き落としたぐしゃぐしゃに壊れて死んだの。
Lilith's hands reached out to me, but I neither tried to dodge nor did I show any fear at her silly threat.
それならそれでいいかと考えて、流されているというか命を捨てているというか。
捨てているわけじゃない。戦う時ちゃんと全力で。
それは戦って勝つことを命令されているからでしょ。だからそれに向けて最善の努力をする。最短の距離で勝利をつかもうとする。
そうだから
例えばそれがあなたが命を捨てることを前提とした戦いであろうとも、そうするつもりでしょ。
その通り。
I wondered why that even presented a problem in the first place. After all, I was summoned here for that exact purpose.
まあそうだったんだけどね。でもちょっとだけ思ったの。もしあなたが天国の門にたどり着けたとしたらどんなに面白いのかなって。
私は天国。
市場にして極上の土地、この世の果てにある楽園、その場所であなたは何をなすのか。それを考えたらあなたにもきちんと順応してほしくない。
Could it be that Lilith is actually kind of in love with Setsuna somehow? She wants to see him succeed at any cost? Or maybe she wants to use him? Who knows? Was I truly worthy to push its gates open and step through?
それを確かめるためにあなたには生きていてほしいので、全てはあなただ。
ひとまず前向きに前処するという
ひとまずはそれでいいわ。まあ無駄死になんてしたら墓は作ってやらないからね。
はい。
Lilith began to casually dangle her legs atop the fence.
さて、他に言うべきことは何かあったかしら。ああ、そうそう。あなた空見についてどう思う？
彼女が変わっていると。
In all honesty, I felt that word fit perfectly.
ああ、その意見には私も全面的に賛成。ネテルは偶然とんでもない人間を召喚したのかも。
空を飛べるわけでもなく、音より速く走れるわけでもなく、隕石を砕くほど力が強いわけでもない。
Which was exactly what made her peculiar. She was still alive, living in these hellish times like nothing had happened. Like it was the most normal thing in the world. Would I be able to do that? If I had powers, certainly. If not, would I be able to keep my sanity intact?
ああ、それで思い出した。セツナ、あなた空見に優しくしてあげなさいよ。具体的には白馬の王子様らしく振る舞いなさい。
I looked at her in confusion. What was this woman? No. What was this demon thinking?
空見だってきっと不安なんでしょうし、だからあなたがキュッキラと輝くような笑顔を見せた方が喜ぶでしょうし。
A dazzling princely smile.
不気味なだけだと思う。
何よりそんなセツナを見て笑いたいし。
最後の本音だね。まあ表情に乏しいのは自覚しているが、生まれが生まれなので仕方ないことか。
何よ、諦めたらダメよ。ダメ。試しにほら、私に笑いかけてみなさいよ。
I attempted to flash a beaming smile at her to the best of my abilities.
不気味。
That criticism was too harsh.
笑えと言ったのはリリスだろ。
笑い方が不気味なのよ。もうちょっとこう爽やかさを売りにしたアイドルみたいに笑ってちょうだい。
Although I wasn't exactly sure how a smile could beam with energy like a pop star's, I nonetheless concluded that a wide, cheery smile would be appropriate here. Alright, here we go. I gathered all my willpower and flashed the best smile I could possibly muster. I was not sure what to make of Lilith's explosive guffaw. I gave her a stubbornly firm refusal. Lilith hopped off the fence in one swift move, and she was gone, leaving me with nothing but that quick, carefree phrase. Either way, I could easily find my way back home. Do you guys want to pause here?
Okay.
Is that a yes, or?
I mean, if you wanna.
I wanna have a quick chat before we keep progressing.